Welcome, friends. It's almost midnight, and you found your way to the PikeCast. Come along as we careen through the catalog of the most formative horror writer of our young adult days, Christopher Pike. From adult perspectives, we'll revisit these YA books our parents probably would never have let us read had they known what lie inside. We tackle one book per episode in a freewheeling and unbiased chat. So grab your battered paperback, pull the flashlight from the kitchen drawer, climb under your bed covers, and devour a good book with us.
Greetings, fellow Pikers, and welcome to the PikeCast. I'm Cooper Beckett, and I'm thrilled to be joined by my lovely co-hosts.
Hello, I'm Cassie.
Hi, I'm Becca.
On this episode, we're digging into Christopher Pike's 1991 book, Bury Me Deep. We're going to be dissecting it in great detail and spoiling each and every plot twist, so consider yourself warned. If you're enjoying the PikeCast, please leave us a review on the podcast service of your choice. We'd like to welcome this week's guest, Nico Bell, author of Food Fright and editor of Shiver, a chilling anthology. Welcome, Nico.
Hi, thank you so much for having me on.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Before we get started with the book, we do like to ask our guests some questions. I believe Cassie is up first.
Yes, so tell us a little bit about how you discovered Christopher Pike.
I actually have never read Christopher Pike until a month ago, but my sister was a big fan of Christopher Pike. She read every single one of their books, so she just had them all lined up on her bookshelf. I was not really into them. I wasn't into scary things when I was a kid, so this is my first big jump into the Pike pool. And boy, what a leap it was.
You know, it's always good when the first big jump is a wild one.
Yeah.
I really like that. Yeah. So Nico, if Pike was your sister's formative horror, what was yours?
Well, I did read R.L. Stine, mostly because my friends did, but they really freaked me out when I was a kid. I just remember like one book where someone got turned into a bird, and it just made me really terrified. So I did R.L. Stine when I was a kid, definitely, and that was probably my like childhood young adult horror.
And then when did you transition? Like, did you transition to Stephen King? Did you transition Clive Barker? Where'd you go?
You know, I never got into King as much, or even Barker that much. I've read their stuff, not a ton, but I went more toward like women in horror. You know, Shirley Jackson was a huge influence. And then from there, just kind of trying to read as much diversity and trying to find, female villains and things like that. So it was more when I was older, and I started writing horror kind of this might be weird, but kind of as a form of therapy for myself. And so that's totally normal, guys. Don't worry about it.
No, that actually is totally normal. I am on board with that as a horror writer myself.
Yes.
That is totally normal.
Yeah. So then when I sought out stories, the ones written by women just kind of resonated more with me. So that's sort of the path I went down.
Well, let's dig into Bury Me Deep then, as your first Pike book.
Oh boy.
I just want to throw in, I'm sorry, that I absolutely love that Nico wasn't really into scary things as a kid. Mm-hmm. And then I can kind of tell, not really tell, but okay, I've already told you that Food Fright was one of my favorite books last year.
Thank you.
And I love that you have this, you're welcome. I love that you have this comedy, and that's what I'm into is the silly kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I just want to say that I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So
and I'm glad that you started with Stine, because I don't know, I just feel like it kind of helped build to who you are now, and I love it.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I love that, you have a little fun with your horror. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Sometimes horror can take itself way too seriously.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
It's just okay, dial it back. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, Cooper, have you read Food Fright? I know Cassie has.
I have not. It's one of the... I'm basically I feel like such a bad horror fan.
No,
like
you're fine.
I
You
read
have to
so
read it, though.
slowly, and now all my reading time, literally all my reading time, is Christopher Pike.
Aw. There's a talking croissant, Cooper.
There is a talking croissant.
And it's literally
amazing.
yes, it is. I can't even think of a croissant now without thinking that it's going to say bonjour and
Wow.
mon ami.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that book, it simultaneously made me hungry and also really grossed me out. So
Yeah.
thank you for that, Nico.
Perfect. I love it.
Well, okay, that is some ringing endorsements here, so I will have
Yes,
to bump it
read it.
up the list.
Yes.
Cassie, you want to read the back of the book this week?
Wait. Oh.
Oh, what?
Yes. No, sorry. I went out of order. I'm an idiot. Sorry. I was like, wait, we didn't do the cover because I'm really excited about the cover.
No,
but the
we're
cover's
going to do
next.
the cover.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Sorry. I got excited. Thank you. That's true. Thank you. Okay. The dead boy would not go away. Jean is on her way to Hawaii for a week of fun in the sun, but the vacation gets off to a gruesome start. The boy sitting beside her on the plane suddenly chokes and dies. Jean tries to push the incident out of her mind when she arrives on the island, but finds it impossible. Part of the reason is because Mike keeps coming back to her in her dreams. Horrible dreams filled with cold blood. Two of Jean's friends are waiting for her in Hawaii, Mandy and Michelle. They have already made friends with two young men who teach scuba diving at the hotel, Dave and Johnny. Jean and Johnny quickly become friends, but there are problems in paradise. Besides Jean's continuing nightmares, Dave and Johnny have recently lost a partner in the ocean. No one knows how he died. No one can find his body. But then Jean finds Mike's body. It isn't where it's supposed to be, and it seems as if it's still got some life in it. Dun, dun, dun.
What the hell?
Guys, does anyone else's back of the book say Jill instead of Michelle?
No.
No.
Oh, another one of those.
Oh
Yeah,
my
it says
gosh,
Mandy
that's
and
so
Jill, and
funny.
I was like, who's Michelle? And then I remembered that the book is Michelle, and it says Michelle throughout the book and never Jill.
Oh.
Jill, maybe because Jill and Jean were too similar, but Mandy and Michelle, come on.
Yeah, it's
But then
always
again, Johnny, Jill, and Jean, that would have been.
Well, like
Oh,
I
yeah,
realized
that would've
the synopsis for Fall into Darkness that I had Anne with another last name and with an E.
Yeah.
And in the book, it's Anne A-N-N Rice.
Yeah.
So you never know what you're going to get from the back of a Christopher Pike book.
These are
First of all, that's
fantastic.
ridiculously long.
I know. I
Yeah.
felt like that reading it. I was like, oh my God, am I
Like,
still going?
good
I'm sorry,
Lord.
guys.
And second, she doesn't find Mike's
I
body.
was just gonna ask that. I was reading my book. Wait, she found Mike's body? Is that what?
Yeah.
I was like racking my brain. They didn't find Mike, right? No?
So it's deliberate. It's not even misleading. It's just untrue.
Okay, good. I thought I missed something. I was
No,
like, okay.
you did not. Mike's body is exactly where you'd expect it to
Okay,
be,
yeah,
buried
that's
in
what
the
I thought.
cemetery
Okay, perfect.
after he died.
That's what I thought. Whew, we were getting off to a weird start. It's like, oh my gosh, what did I read? Okay.
But yeah, that's one of the reasons we do this section. This is the Magic Fire section where we talk about the cover and the back of the book because it doesn't always accurately
That's
capture what's
bonkers.
inside the book.
I
So
didn't
let's
even
talk about the
notice.
cover, which having not read this book before, this cover was so burned in my mind because of the single first name on the tombstone, just Mike. That's just Mike.
Well, I don't even have the retro cover because I had to buy it off
Oh.
Amazon,
Okay.
So mine is like an updated, what I imagine is trying to be more cool cover. It's
Is it
just
one
like,
of the ones with the photo cover or is it still art?
I think it's the underwater with the face, right?
yeah, with the face.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not as cool. I was actually very disappointed. One of the things I remembered from my sister's books was the covers.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I was looking forward to it, but I just got a face with a little scuba diver guy on it.
It is pretty
Little
accurate,
bummed.
though, I will say.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
But not as cool, no.
perhaps more so than a hand coming out of Mike's grave.
Well,
No,
the
actually,
bones-
that's accurate too.
Yeah,
That's
no,
okay.
but the bones, he's supposed to be fleshy, right?
Yeah, he is fleshy, like
So
icky fleshy. Like there's specific, like the gore in this book, Becca.
Yeah.
I imagine pinged all your happy
Yeah.
places.
I'm pretty sure, I don't
Sky
know for
is
a
so
fact, but I
pretty.
think I have something like marked that we'll get to hopefully. I have to
Excellent.
remember what it was. I have to remember what it was first, though.
So I'm a fan of most of Brian Kotsky's covers, and this is obviously a very iconic cover, even though it doesn't appear to be in Hawaii. And even though that tombstone with just the first name Mike on it it's memorable because it's so weird.
I wanna mention too, because there are two other covers that I had seen before I read it, when I was looking this one up. And they both had like holographic titles, which I don't know, is that the UK one? Like where his last name was like holographic?
Yeah, usually.
So they had two different ones, it looked like, and then one was like this underwater like mask and blood coming out of it, like like the breathing mask, and then the other one's like a skull in kelp at the bottom of the ocean with like an eel coming out of an eyeball.
That's
and
okay.
it has,
So
like,
those are very accurate to the book.
Yeah. I liked it. Yeah, I thought those were cool. But I mean, okay, so this one we have is my favorite, obviously, because there's so much pink. Look at that sky. But those other ones are really cool too.
I love it.
He does really nice sunsets. I've noticed that because I do the little edits of the book covers for our episode covers, and I'm often having to recreate a gradient pink and purple and blue sky. It's fun. But I like this cover. It just doesn't, like the girl could be from any of Pike's books. She's just girl,
If they bury somebody, do they just leave it like brown? They don't put grass over it? It just stays brown?
Well, I mean, it depends. Some
grass
places will
does
put
that.
sod over it. Some places will just put grass seed on it.
Oh, seed. Okay, so it grows. I see. I understand. Okay, that makes sense.
But he was buried weeks ago. So theoretically, it should have already sprouted into grass.
I don't know how fast grass grows, to be honest with you.
I feel like it's probably pretty fast.
Reasonably fast.
Yeah, okay.
Let's say that. They are very, very small plants. Okay. So, yeah, the cover of the book, accurate. The back of the book, somebody just went off on a tangent, I think.
I don't think it's accurate, because who is Jill? We just gotta know.
Well, yes, there's
Mine is not
that.
accurate.
Yeah.
And Becca, is yours the original cover, the classic Pike cover?
Yeah, I got the good one, the one that like is retro.
Okay,
cute
so
one.
that means I always am curious about when a transition happened. Like, when was she Jill, and when did she become
Right.
Michelle?
Mm.
It's interesting. But speaking of Jill, let's move into the Midnight Club and start talking about our characters. Starting with our lead, Jean Fiscal, who is cheap.
How old is she?
that was cute.
Do we ever know?
18? Yeah.
So when she says like it's break, is that high school or college?
My guess is it's spring break from high school.
Yeah. They're
Oh my
seniors.
gosh, that makes it so much worse. I can't tell you how many times I wrote stranger danger down as a note.
Oh, good
Now
Lord,
it's
yeah.
even worse. Okay,
Yeah.
yes. Oh wow, she's really young. She should not be going to Hawaii by herself with her friends. That's like the really old me talking. Like, this is an inappropriate situation from the start. Oh my gosh.
Let me just
Jean.
spoil the rest of Pike's books by telling you that you're going to run into that a lot.
Yeah. Seriously.
Oh my
And
gosh.
we don't really get the absentee mother here. Her mother is weirdly oppressive and makes her come home when she's supposed to be taking a test to help birth dogs.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's happened to all of us, guys. Don't be
true.
too judgmental.
Very, very true.
Oh,
So-
Jean was a character.
Jean is a very typical Pike heroine in that she is plucky, sarcastic, a little bit shy, a little bit needy, but I think they all work together in this book in a much better way than they have in some other books. Like, she is legitimately funny. She's legitimately weird and on purpose, not just weird. And I really enjoy Jean as a character.
She's a shitty friend. She's the worst, terrible,
Well, yes,
awful
yeah.
friend.
Okay, so you say that, but I was gonna go. I agree with you, but I was also gonna say that like she's kind of a good person. Because, hear me out. Hear me. I'm ready to argue. No, I'm just kidding. But like I do definitely agree that she's a little shithead But at the end, like, when Johnny is, like, face down in the water, and she's like, even though he did all these bad things, like, I kind of want to go help. And I just feel like that's a nice thing to do. Like, the fact that she was willing
That
to help.
part, in my head for that, I didn't think that's a nice thing to do. I thought, you fucking idiot, he just tried to run you over with a fucking water
Yeah.
motorcycle. Like, what the heck, dude? Like,
Yeah.
get out of the water,
Exactly.
go run. Not to
I
use
I
her.
love that scene. I love that scene when he, like, stands up on the thing and he's, like,
Mhm.
laughing, and I'm like,
Yeah.
this is so fucked up. I loved it so much.
I was just thinking too, like, how many, because it says, like, so he goes back and forth like twice, and then there's 4 more times. I was like, this dude must be getting so mad, because me personally, I'd be so angry I hadn't killed her already. Like, I'd be furious, not laughing. I'd be like, I would be so, I play video games, and if I can't shoot something within the first, like, 2 tries, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, get out of here. Like, oh.
I feel like the
Okay, hold
laughing
on,
made her just
ladies.
look a bit more
We're
psychotic.
really way off course here.
Oh,
That's climax of the book. Let's keep talking about Jean.
it's a good part, man.
It is, and we will talk about it endlessly.
I just
But
thought Jean was incredibly naive.
well, yes,
And I feel like I'm just way too old to be like finding a gem in this book, because all I could think the whole time was, man, like, these girls have to be more smart talking to these boys, and what the safety issues going out on boats are being ignored, and they really shouldn't be anywhere they don't feel comfortable to begin with. like the practical side of me really took over. I just wanted to sit Jean down and have a talk. Like, all of them, really. I mean, this was going bonkers. So, you know, I didn't. You said, like, I don't know, sarcastic and funny. I thought it was more like weird, like not knowing how to interact with a human being. Like, maybe she's never flew before, but surely she knows the basics of flying. So, like, her interaction talking to, like, people at the airport before she got on, talking to the stewardess, I'm like, there would be a lot of red flags if I met Jean in real life. I don't know. So I just had a different take.
I'm pretty sure I reacted the exact same way the first time I flew, so all of that was very believable to me. Like, 100%.
And
making
also,
jokes and like, oh my god, what is this? Like, oh my god, everything, look at this. I turned the little air thing above me on, and I was like, air conditioning above my head, look at this, to the guy sitting next to me who was like, bitch, what's wrong with you?
Dial it back there.
Dial it back, yeah. Yeah, so it was an interesting getting to know one of Pike's heroines, I suppose. And then, of course, all the sex stuff about being a virgin and wanting to meet guys, but not wanting to, like, give it away and all this weird stuff.
Well, to give you an idea of that stuff, that is Pike through and through.
Oh, I don't like that.
This is why all of us were obsessed with it in our formative years. It's just because
okay.
No, because Pike had sex in it, R.L. Stine didn't.
Well, yes, that's very true.
So when we accidentally discovered the sex in the Pike books, it was like a whole new world.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. That makes sense.
And when I'm saying formative years, I'm talking like 10, 11, that in there, you know?
Yeah, but it's just weird how it's presented.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, we have a whole section about the sex
problematic
in this.
We have, perfect.
Perfect.
I think my favorite part of this is going to be in the beginning when we're talking about Nico having a book about a croissant monster, and then cutting to her being like, I'm a little too practical for this book.
I love it.
Like, I just need a preview of this episode.
It has to be realistic, guys. It has to be realistic. And I just didn't buy Jean's character.
Well, here's an unusual thing about Jean for Pike, is she doesn't dislike herself.
It's true. Yeah.
You know, when it takes her to chapter 2 to discuss her body, but it's in reference to Mike, who showed up on the plane. But Jean was tan. She went to the beach often and had a classic California good looks. Her smile was absurdly bright. I mean, this is her thinking this, too. Her hair was very shiny, and she wore it long, straight down her back. She's dated 2 boys, one who is a germaphobe, and one who wants to join the seminary, who is also, I believe, 20 while she is 16. So there we go. We have a bit of a problematic moment there, but at least he wants to join the seminary. So, not as problematic as it could be, I guess.
Yeah, I just wonder where her mom is when all this is happening.
Her mom is worried about the puppies.
I'm sorry, you're right.
Taking care of the puppies.
Yeah. She seems to give no fucks about Jean at all.
I mean,
but those puppies. Yeah. Oh my God, those puppies.
She did give Jean her credit card.
Oh,
yeah, but basically told her not to use it. Like, here it is,
That's
but
fair,
don't use it.
But I mean, it shows. That's more than my mom's done for me. So, I mean, she's got that going for her.
Let's move on to poor Mandy Bart, who gets the shortest shrift in this book.
I felt bad for her, but also she was so annoying, dude. Like she.
She is so needy, and Mandy was big boned, but she was not particularly athletic or strong. A tall girl with short brown hair and straight bangs. She had a plain and dizzy expression until she laughed. Then she looked positively insane.
What is that even? Like, I've never looked at somebody and thought, wow, what a dizzy expression. Like,
I don't know.
I would like to know what that looks like.
I feel like it's shorthand for airhead.
So she just looks dumb, is what he was trying to say. That's rude.
I guess. I mean, poor Mandy. Maybe, but at the same time, you're right. She should not have put dibs on a guy. You can't dibs.
You can't?
No,
it's like an 18-year-old? Okay.
Well, I mean, you shouldn't.
No, honestly, I feel like that was, I felt like that was believable.
I did feel like that's a very teenage girl.
Yeah, I thought so too. And I thought it was so shitty of fucking Jean because she legitimately is upfront. She doesn't like pussyfoot around it. She like straight up tells her best friend, like, I like this guy. Can you not try to go for him? And she's like, I don't think I've done that before. Okay, I'm being serious. Don't do this. She's like, all right, I won't. And then cut to here. Don't kiss him and tell me about it. I won't. Like, what are you doing? You're so terrible. Like, I can't.
Oh, Cassie, you can go ahead. Finish your thought.
No, that was my thought. I can't. Okay. I cannot. Like, I can't with her. No, that's it.
I was adding on that, like, the fact that Mandy had to say, like, please don't do this makes it seem like Jean must have done it before. Like, regardless of what she said. Like, why would Mandy be so worried?
Yeah.
So I feel like Jean's been shady.
Yeah, I think so too.
Well, let's be honest though. If Mandy was really worried about someone stealing her boyfriend, why would she go on vacation with Michelle?
Michelle invited herself, and she didn't even meet him until she got there.
How does one do that to Hawaii?
Yeah, that was weird to me too. I don't know.
I kind of want to try it sometime.
I don't know how you invite yourself to a out of state vacation. I know. I legit thought that too. I was like, I wonder if this works. If I'm hearing people talk, I mean, that's weird. Like, I want to go somewhere too. That sounds fun. Friends, let's go.
Like, oh, you're going to Disney World? Me too.
And then not just that, but like she gets a portion of things, so she gets to decide like what events they're doing with their coupons and stuff. Like, she's getting a lot of privilege with the other two girls, considering she's not even their friend. Who is she? Where did she come from?
See, that's what I'm saying. They have to make better decisions. They're making terrible choices.
Yeah.
They shouldn't let someone they hardly know on their vacation.
That's true. She did go to school with them, though, so they knew her like more than they knew the guys, at least.
But that made Michelle an instant red herring for me.
Yeah.
And I mean, there are multiple red herrings in this one, and Jean just gets obsessed with the wrong one. But Michelle was right on. And when it's revealed that she had already been there and already met them in the past, it's like, oh, okay. Well, red herring is higher on this one. Well, let's talk about Michelle. Blonde beauty. Okay. The boats were probably lined up in the harbor to take her to exotic, secluded beaches. Michelle had it all. The blue eyes, the full chest, the brown skin, the long blonde hair. It was only the shape of her mouth that was questionable. Besides being small, it had a slight tendency to twist down on the right side when she smiled. Then again, Jean had heard guys at school say that Michelle Kala had the most devilishly sexy smile.
Oh,
What
gosh.
the fuck?
Can I just say how much I dislike these descriptions so much, and how, just like on more of a serious note, like how damaging it is to like young girls, young women to read this and have that be the definition of beauty and lustworthy, and then to have Mandy's definition be the one of more class clownish or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's just blonde hair, long hair, tan skin, blue eyes. Like, we get enough of that with, like, the television and movies, and that's what beauty is. And then to have it in a book, it's just, I mean,
Well,
no
I'm
wonder
surprised
people are so
Michelle
miserable.
wasn't a cheerleader or working to be a model, because
Or trying to be an actress.
But they all lived in California already, so they couldn't play the wants to move to California card, which is a typical Pike. We don't like this character. She wants to be a model and move to California.
Oh my gosh. Fine, whatever.
Well, Michelle also ticks a number of Pike boxes.
Oh, good.
She ate all she wanted and never gained a pound.
See,
That comes up a lot. But here's the weirdest one. Like, I'm obsessed with this quirk. Michelle was a fry addict who also needed daily doses of ketchup.
Oh, yeah.
She did
Weird.
not simply dip her fries in a spot of ketchup and eat them. She stuck each fry directly into the ketchup bottle. The whole time she had eaten the fries, she pranced about the suite with her bottle in her hand. She enjoyed grossing them out.
I mean, I know the ketchup bottle kind of has a purpose, so I guess that's why we needed it, but like...
Does it really, though?
No, it really doesn't. But
Like, that whole part, like...
It was in the book for, I guess, a reason.
Can I tell you guys? So the first time I read this, obviously, I was like 12. When I was younger, I read this and I was very impressionable. I was like, oh, people do that. That's a cool thing. I don't know why I thought it was cool. Like, I was a weirdo. But like, so I went to the kitchen. I was like, ketchup bottle. And then next time I had fries, like I dipped the fries into the ketchup bottle and tried to like, do that as a thing. It tasted different than how the ketchup tastes out of the bottle. And I don't know why. Like, to this day, I have never done it again, but I was immediately disgusted and almost puked. Like, it was so gross. And I remembered that, of trying that, and I've told people that story. I never remembered that it was because of this book.
Oh, how funny.
Yeah. Until now. Until reading it today. So that was wild.
I feel like you'd get very few dunks.
Yeah,
because
right?
most of it is neck.
And then it'd be empty, right? Or like too low to get your fingers in there. Like, I'm trying to do it with my hands. Actually, it looks inappropriate what I'm trying to do, but like, I don't know if you guys can imagine. You probably can, but like, you wouldn't be able to get in too far.
Cassie, I see it in my head.
Okay, unless you have really long fries or really long skinny fingers.
And why specific? Like, unless everybody's using that ketchup, is it intentionally grossing them out?
It was just weird.
I couldn't give a shit if someone's wandering around eating. I would be more angry about spilling the ketchup and breaking glass in the bathtub.
I know, the glass in the bathtub freaks me out. I don't like broken glass. What if you step on it? Your little toesies. That's
right. But no, it's the bottle that freaks everybody out. She's just a weird character.
I I wanted her to be a bad guy so bad, though. I thought she was going to like give me Alexa vibes in the end, and she didn't. So I was really sad about that.
I also really wanted her to be a bad guy. Because she fulfills all, and like, she didn't even steal a boyfriend. Like, literally, she does nothing in the bad guy categories in Pike except invite herself on the trip and eat ketchup weird.
Yeah, honestly, I will say, of the characters, the girls at least, like, she's the one that I feel like is the most. She has her own agency. She's like, I'm gonna go here, have a party, fuck, like, eat fries, go scuba diving, do what I want. Like, and she just doesn't care. Like, she's just like, I'm here for a good time. I don't care about any of this. And then the whole book, we're like, she's a bad guy. She's a bad guy, but she's not. She's just living her life, having a vacation.
Pretty much.
It sounded like a fun vacation from her side too, like, minus all the other stuff.
Yeah. I mean, until a roommate landed on her head outside the suite.
I said minus all the other stuff.
I mean, that would be the moment Michelle's vacation was ruined.
Oh,
and she would probably blame Mandy.
I was going to say the moment her vacation was ruined was when that ketchup bottle broke, because she was actually upset about that, remember? Yeah. She was like, it's like somebody knocked it over on purpose.
Let's talk about our dead guy, Mike Clyde.
Poor Mike.
Poor Mike, indeed. And what an...
The man with two names.
Yeah, the boy with two first names, yeah. It's really...
I'm sorry.
You're so cute.
I was like, most people have two names. Come on.
I meant two first names.
I know, but that's why I was laughing so hard, and then I couldn't stop. I'm sorry, guys. I'm giggly today. It's because of the caffeine. I'm sorry.
You are giggly today.
I'm sorry.
I think it's adorable.
So Mike died a month before the action in this book. Now, I'm trying to figure this out. Was the thing on the plane, that was Jean's dream, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, like a hallucination? Not necessarily. Well,
I think it only happens when she's unconscious.
Oh, I thought she was like awake and experiencing it.
No, because even the lady told her, she's like, you were asleep for most of the flight. So, like when she was trying to call her later and ask about him
so
dying
that was the reveal, that she'd been asleep that time. And I was unclear.
There's a little bit of foreshadowing too, because like they say how she fell asleep, and then like at the end of one chapter they're like, and then she got in the exact same position she had been in when she fell asleep or something like that, and then that's what she woke up from. So yeah, a little bit, but
so Mike is like, I really like the desperate ghost aspect of him. And he's, I mean, until we have his whole, I'm hanging out with Mandy tonight bullshit at the end. He's a really like sweet, perplexed character. And I like that about him.
Yeah, he was sweet. I felt bad for him. He was really the only person I felt legitimately bad for the whole entire thing.
Not even poor Mandy who landed on her head.
That was so bizarre that I think I just couldn't really, like, it was just such out of the blue moment.
It really was.
That I'm still my head's still kind of spinning to accept that. It was just so weird. Like, I just figured, Pike needed a death here, so Mandy was the sacrifice.
Okay, moving on to Dave and Johnny, who, let's be honest, would have been much better being native to the island.
We don't have Ringo on here.
Well, Ringo's not a character.
Yeah, he is.
He is never on screen. That makes him a non-character.
But he's the whole reason. He's what starts it all. His haunt.
Okay.
He's important. I'm gonna defend Ringo. I feel bad for Ringo.
Defend Ringo. I mean,
look, I feel bad for Dave too. Okay, because Dave, he's doing his own business, and then Johnny over here, Mr. Fucking douchebag dude guy, he's like ruining everybody's life, literally.
Yeah.
With murder and guns.
With murder. Yes. Okay. So we have three. I'm sorry. Three islanders who appear to have come from somewhere other than Hawaii. And my point was, it would have been a great opportunity to have some native Hawaiians.
Maybe
that is
Ringo
true.
Was.
Yeah.
Ringo died because Johnny was greedy. Actually, Ringo kind of died because he was greedy.
But he could have just been joking. You never know.
Well, that's true. But don't dive with a psychopath and joke about keeping his money.
I mean, that's fair.
I mean, don't dive with a psychopath. Really?
You could have just.
We could cut it there. So they are. I mean, I feel like we've done this before. Wasn't there another Pike book where someone was? Yeah, it was Slumber Party.
Oh, I thought it was. Wait, are you trying for combined characters, right?
Where there were two guys, and there are three girls who are interested in getting with the guys.
Yeah, that was Slumber Party.
And yeah, and there was an initial, oh, please don't take the guy I like from me because I'm the chubby friend. I feel like we've done this before. Like this whole thing, I feel like we've done before.
It's going to pop up more too.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
Unsurprising. So Dave is powerfully built, black, short hair, and could have been a bodybuilder.
He seemed older than he was written too. Like,
yeah, he's only supposed to be 21, but he did seem older. It's probably for the best that he was downsized to 21, because otherwise the Michelle relationship would be creepier.
Yeah, Nico would have had another fit about that. She's like, red flag!
Red flag, get away.
I love it.
These are still kids.
Yeah.
I mean, we have done this where they're younger and the guys are older. So I think in Slumber Party, it was a 16-year-old and a 21-year-old.
Are they 16? Yeah, they might be young. I don't. That was one of his earliest, or if not his earliest too. So that's. Yeah.
So it's been creepier. This is at least okay. Well, I guess they're adults.
Technically,
I guess.
Jean gives a dirty look and she says, "I'm 18."
Yeah. So Johnny Jean's initial impression of him is that he was a beach bum. His hair was dirty blonde, and if it had seen a comb once that spring, it had been lucky. Spring. So confirmed. It's spring break. He was beautifully tanned, and his long, thin legs were well muscled. His whole body appeared a solid sinew of strength.
Sorry.
And as gross as that is, I do appreciate the alliteration.
Well, that's how all 18-year-old young women, describe men. So I've said it once, I've said it twice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, strong sinews. Yeah.
That's what does it for me too.
This one's interesting to me. He would be a guy for a wild weekend of fast cars and warm beers.
What? The stereotypes in this are just out of control. Oh my gosh.
And so Michelle points out here that Mandy is already looking at Johnny, but he's looking at you. Ooh. There's a lot of looking going on. I think sometimes I make the dialogue better when I read it like that specifically. And then Ringo, okay, dead guy.
Yes.
Corpse in the deeps.
Yeah, he looks a little on the thin side after being eaten by fish.
Yes, for sure. And poor guy's corpse, his head is yanked off, his hand is yanked off, his body is ripped out of crevices and thrown back. Good Lord.
She says, maybe we can put you back together again later. What the heck is that?
I circled that for bad writing. I didn't like that.
Okay. We're going to take a commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to dive into Remember Me and talk about the plot. So we'll be right back with more of the PikeCast.
Wow, friends. Where else can you get this kind of programming than the PikeCast? Nowhere, that's where. But we're trying to keep the lights on here. If you like what you're hearing and want it to keep happening, jump over to our Patreon at thepikecast.com/Patreon and throw us a few bucks to join our private Discord server. Higher tiers get books, stickers, bookmarks, and even personalized shirts. That's thepikecast.com/Patreon.
Once, Osgood and Frost were the up-and-coming stars of the burgeoning paranormal investigation TV show craze before a hoax put an end to their friendship, partnership, and television careers. Now, over a decade later, Prudence Osgood is a barely functioning alcoholic ghost hunter for hire. Her yearning for mystery and adventure is reignited when she receives a cryptic, untraceable email. She can't resist embarking on an investigation that tugs threads, winding through a sinister series of disappearances, her former partner's family, and a night 20 years ago when a semi blew a yellow light and nearly killed her. Reviewers are calling Osgood Is Gone a masterfully vulnerable and relatable 21st century horror story, and a bourbon-soaked supernatural mystery with sparkling dialogue that sticks the landing on LGBT characters, and main character Prudence Osgood, as tortured as she is clever, broken in all the best ways, and a true heroine for our times. Buy it today at Osgood Is Gone as a paperback, ebook, or audiobook narrated by me, JJ Ronvier.
Welcome back to the PikeCast. Now we're moving into our plot discussion in a section we call Remember Me. So this entire book takes place in Hawaii.
Sure does.
And has so much snorkeling, scuba diving talk.
Oh my gosh, so much. It's bonkers. I feel like I am now certified to go scuba diving.
We read another Pike book. It was Give Me a Kiss, that had a decent amount of scuba diving in it.
Why do you think he did that? Why so much?
Well, there is definitely a thing that Pike does where we notice things that he's really into.
Oh, okay.
Like there was a huge discussion of photography and developing in one of his books.
Okay.
And so I get the feeling that he gets really excited when he knows something and wants to detail it in the books.
Got it.
And I was really excited to learn that scuba is an acronym. Because I did not know that.
I knew that.
Self-contained underwater breathing apparatus.
I got points in school as a kid because I knew the answer to that in class, and I got it from this book.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
I felt so smart. I was like, yeah, bitches. And they're like, have you gone scuba diving? And I was like, nah, no, I read books.
So, Cassie, you learned about the bends in this book.
I did, yes.
I learned about the bends in The Firm.
Oh.
Because there was a lot of discussion of not going scuba diving twice and then flying because you could get the bends. Yeah. So
I didn't realize the flying thing. That makes sense, though.
Yeah, because you're going all over in the pressure arena there.
So if you go scuba diving, you can't fly home the next day?
Well, I think it depends on the depth you're going, and it's more about like a frequency of it. So it's not like a hard and fast rule, but yeah.
Guys, I hate to break up this discussion, but we did just turn into a scuba diving podcast.
We did.
And I feel like
yeah.
Pike would enjoy this very much. I feel like this is his plan all along, is to get everybody talking about scuba diving. And you guys have fallen for it.
He was sitting there in 1988 before he wrote Give Me a Kiss like, people aren't talking about scuba enough.
Well, rest assured, Pike.
All these years later.
True. Fix that. So, okay. I'm gonna attempt a plot summary, which is always fun off the top of my head. Okay, so we have Jean, who goes to Hawaii 2 days late on her first really expensive trip, and that just irritated the shit out of me. Like the fact that her teacher and her mother fucked that up when she's spending so much money and is like, oh my God, I was so pissed off for her. So she gets to Hawaii. She learns to scuba dive with these two handsome boys from the island. She's having dreams about a guy who may be dead but may not be. Then she goes all the way down, and in the most tense fucking chapters ever is scuba diving as she knows her air is running out. She's in a cave. Like, I got literally claustrophobic during that section. This is why I really enjoyed this book, because I was so intensely affected by a number of these sequences, and that hasn't really happened in the Pike stuff we've read so far. Like, I've enjoyed it, but I wasn't experiencing the tension before.
Did you skip over Mike dying on the plane?
No. Yeah. Mike died on the plane.
That was a huge plot point.
No,
But
minor
it wasn't
plot
real.
point.
I don't know.
Yeah, what? That
was honestly one of my favorite parts of the book. Was like the very beginning.
That was so sad. He's like so wistful, and then there's like some weird thing going on, and she doesn't really like. There's double meanings to his words, and he seems confused, and then suddenly he's dead
with that single drop of blood coming down his mouth.
Cooper's like, it doesn't matter. Meanwhile, all of Whisper of Death, all of it, the entire book is basically like in her head, according to Cooper. That was his reading of it. Remember?
Was that my reading?
You told me it was a dream.
Oh, maybe I did. I don't remember what I thought Whisper of Death was, honestly.
Whisper of Death was a hot mess.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yes, Mike. There was a very dramatic death on the plane. Yes, there's a lot of plot here. What do you want from me?
To not miss a damn part of it, Cooper.
Not a single part. Not one page.
How dare you?
Also, a plot point we don't pick up is that Jean is sleepwalking.
Yeah.
And almost plunges off the balcony herself.
That's true.
So, going back to the very beginning where you mentioned there was a lot of gore, one of my favorite parts was the bathtub scene.
Yeah.
Before she realized it was ketchup, like that was stupid. But the blood.
But no, it wasn't ketchup in that scene. It was ketchup.
After the dream, like when she wakes up.
Yeah.
But like,
I love what I remember more. Like that's what stood out to me. So when you said I loved the bathtub scene, I was like, "Are you saying you loved the ketchup, Becca?"
No,
what? No, yeah, I got it now.
Okay, so I'm not a big fan of the book It by Stephen King. Nor am I like really that big of a fan of like the miniseries. Like I like Tim Curry, but anyway, like the movie itself or whatever the series, I didn't really care for. But the one thing that I remember is like that like scene where the blood just comes up out of the like fucking sink.
Oh yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah. So like that's, and I guess that happens in the new movie too, which was 10 times better in my opinion. Like, yeah. So that's like I had flashbacks to that because when I was a kid, that actually like was one of the parts that scared me was the blood in the bathroom. So I was really digging that scene, and I just wanted you guys to know that I was really, really digging it.
Okay, good.
I mean, it is worth noting. This is 1991.
I'm just updating my spreadsheet on Becca's appearance in the Pike books.
This is a must know. Bloody bathtubs, fucking terrifying.
Yeah, no, it was really creepy. I forgot that part too, and I've read this a bunch of times, like I've said, and I totally forgot the bathtub scene. I forgot the ketchup too, to be fair. But when I was reading that, I was like, "Where is this going? It's just so creepy." Oh my god! Like,
it was so good, so good. Chef's kiss. I love that.
Okay, so plot. The book tries so hard to get us to believe Dave is the bad guy and is in cahoots with Michelle, which would make sense. But it tries so hard, I kind of knew it was someone else, because why would they be working so hard to convince us of One Direction? Like, it had to be Johnny.
When you said One Direction, I automatically thought of the band. Okay, thank you.
I was like, the band? Like,
I was like, we're going to start talking about, is this the Harry Styles podcast? Because I'm here.
Why would the book be trying to convince us about one? Were they even alive in 1991?
I don't think so. That's why it was so jarring.
30 years ago? I mean, come on.
Maybe Christopher Pike like knew what was gonna happen, and they were like, "Oh, there's gonna be a hit UK band coming," and so he had
a VCR that recorded the news from 30 years in the future.
He watched Entertainment Weekly and found out about them.
Yeah.
Fucking Pike.
Okay, you all have thrown me off completely here. Now I'm trying
it's
to
your
find
fault that you
the
said One
thread of the
Direction.
plot.
It's true.
I'm sorry. I'm
It's
sorry
okay.
for using,
I forgive you.
the phrase One Direction.
It put me in a good mood, so thank you. I mean, I've already been in a good mood, but like it like made it even better. So,
all right.
I think Cooper gets tired almost, Cassie. Cooper's like, I've had enough.
I'm trying so hard to remember the plot to this book.
Like, why did we sign up for this?
You two take over.
I've got the plot. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Cassie, it's
this
yours.
girl is getting into some shenanigans because Oatmeal Boy number 1 and Oatmeal Boy number 2 are both suspicious.
Okay, this is good.
And she's got some friends that she doesn't give a single shit about. So she's trying to get with Oatmeal Boy 1. Suddenly, there's dead people and ghosts and bloody bathtubs and ketchup, which is just a recipe for something delicious and disastrous. So then she decides in the middle of the night, I gotta go.
I need Cassie to do all the plot summaries.
I gotta go take my little water motorcycle out into the ocean to find the skeleton in the deep, dark, sunken cave because that's a good idea.
Yeah.
And then she gets into more shenanigans, more of them. And then she almost dies, but she doesn't. And that's what happens.
Nice.
Pretty much.
You forgot that Mandy died.
Oh shit, you're right. Damn it, you forgot Mike and I forgot Mandy.
Yeah.
Mandy died.
Mandy died. Now this is worth noting. Mandy died after Jean demanded she and Johnny go somewhere by themselves. So like it really felt like Mandy killed herself there.
Yeah, I did think that could have been a suicide thing. And then when he admits it later, I was like, but it did seem a little bit too, because she seemed very resigned. She was like, okay, I'm not, obviously this isn't going for me. Like, you enjoy, have fun with him, like whatever. And she was annoyed when they decided to leave because she's like, you're being really rude, which fair. She was being really rude. But then I felt like she was more like, I don't know, she didn't seem the type. She was just like, look, you don't want me? Fine, whatever, bye. Like, I tried. I'm going to go home and do my own shit. Because even, like, when she came back the next day, she was cheerful, bubbly, trying to do her own thing until they were rude to her again. And then with her, like, what was it? She got there and they're like, do you want donuts? Do you want coffee? She's like, I want all of it. Give it to me. I'm happy. Give me my food. And I would have been like, that's me. Like, that's what I would have done. I'd have been like, you don't want me? You want my friend? Okay, bye, bitch. Have fun. Give me the donuts. I'll enjoy vacation on my own until somebody pushes me off a balcony.
Pushes right off the balcony, yeah. And Mandy must have landed on top of her head. The crown of her skull was crushed flat. The delicate bones that made up her pleasant expression were shattered. There was blood everywhere.
So is that realistic for 5 stories of a fall? I don't know. I'm asking.
I don't know. I mean, landing on your head, that just seems weird because I feel like you'd flatten out. And
flattening seems weird. Like, I feel like your head's more like a melon or something. Is that not right? Would your head not just like burst into the ground? Would you flatten? I legitimately wondered these things while I was reading.
Well, I feel like the word flatten may be misleading.
I was picturing like a Bart Simpson almost sort of like, I mean, his is rigid, but
no, I feel like it's more like if you cut off the top of someone's head, you are essentially flattening their head. So if a head squishes down and the bottom jaw still exists, the head was flat.
I'm just so confused. And then she recognized her facial features from 5 stories.
From 5 stories up, yeah. That's one of those, Mr. Pike, I don't believe you understand how far you're putting people here. How like it's one of his. Oh yeah, and there were 200 people on this boat. No, there weren't. It
was this temperature, and they were outside trying to get it on in the snow.
Like all the people supposedly on the wind speed when they go out to the island, like all these people that have literally nothing in the book. Like there's no description of anyone. No. There's no description of a crowded boat. There's nothing. There's just a throng of people that we don't know about.
And it was such a big deal too. They got yelled at.
Yeah. Dave lost his cool there.
I wrote down they shouldn't have been on that boat because it wasn't safe. There were too many people. So they should have been on it.
A boat full of inexperienced scuba divers with 2.
Aren't there limitations? I don't understand.
There's got to be. Yeah. I mean, of course, it was the early 90s, so things were less strict. Yeah. Like when she no, that was a different one. I'm thinking
together.
all the books where people are just getting on planes willy-nilly. You know, it's like, oh yeah, that's before 9/11, when planes were easy.
Didn't have to stand through like 2 hours of security.
Yeah, I know, for fuck's sake. Okay, sorry.
A moment of silence.
He was
for
just
planes.
like, his head was just, he was just,
I was
for a
so
moment,
angry.
He was in the airport, just standing
Yeah.
in the line, like waiting.
I did. I disappeared into the airport.
I really liked that. He was like deep in thought. Remember the
I know,
good old
he just
days?
wistful. He's like, oh,
I didn't fly much back then, but I wish I had. I wish I'd enjoyed it more.
I always like the lines, honestly, because I like look at people and I'm like always like nervous. I'd never do any, well, I don't want to say never, but I haven't done anything shady in a long time anywhere. And so I like, but I still have this like little bit of like, oh God, they're going to catch me. And they're going to catch you what, Cassie? You're not doing anything. Yeah, but they're going to get me. Like, I don't know why. Like, I get it every time. And then I always look suspicious, probably because that's what I'm thinking. And I have rainbow hair. And so they pull me to the side and do like a pat down and the little wand. And I'm never doing anything. I'm not. I'm just like, and then I start getting overly chatty because I'm nervous. And so I'm like, hey, what's up? How are you? You ever flown
Which
before?
also is suspicious.
Yeah, I'm so suspicious and I'm trying not to be, I'm like, be less suspicious. And then I'm more suspicious. It's awful.
Well, I mean, reasonably, Cassie, because the only people who are trying to be less suspicious are the people who are suspicious.
I can't help it.
Yeah, so you're compounding the problem by trying to be less suspicious.
Yeah, but I haven't missed a flight yet. They've let me go.
That's
So.
good. That's good. Let's move into the eternal enemy and talk about our big bad, Johnny.
Tommy.
I so enjoyed the beginning of his monologuing, Cassie.
Yes.
Because she distinctly wants
don't
nothing to
know.
do with his monologue.
I was like, Cooper's going to love this.
I loved it so much. Yeah, I guess you want to know why, he said finally. No. He leaned forward. I want to tell you why, so you'll understand. I don't want to understand. Damn you, I'll tell you anyway. I love it.
That's me as a villain. And that's Cooper and you as fucking...
It's like, I don't care why you did it.
It's just so much better when you can explain it to somebody.
It's he's done this a couple times, and I love it every time. He has someone just interrupt and call attention to the you're just monologuing now. Come on. I love it. So Johnny's the big bad, and he seems really bad. Like, it's one of those that it's hard to believe he could keep it all in check, because he is, by the end, driving around on this scooter, this wave runner, trying to run over her head.
Wave runner. That's what I kept forgetting the name. Yeah.
And I'm going to step in some shit here. I don't like What Lies Beneath, the Harrison Ford movie.
I like it, but I haven't seen it like in a long time. I don't remember.
Because I don't believe the transition to monologuing bad guy. It's too dramatic of a shift for me. And I'm not sure I believe it with Johnny. Because, like, he's desperate to be seen as... I mean, I guess because he's desperate to be... Like, he wants the appreciation for the... that makes him an insecure villain. But it's still, he's... how is this clever? And how has he been able to hide this for so long?
I think people, like, considering his mom and his relationship, though, in his home life, I feel like a lot of people adapt to that and become very sneaky, and they're very good at hiding things and, like, masking who they are to other people.
That's very true. That's very true. And Dave did say he felt weird about him a few times, I think.
So, like, some people knew. They just, he said he thought the girl was going to try to fix him, which, what the fuck was that? I didn't like that, but...
Right. It's your responsibility, Gene, here for a week. Your responsibility to fix him.
I know my friend might have killed our other friend, but this one flame is going to fix everything.
So he's I mean, he's pretty typical Pike villain. Then he's the weak and craven man who has desperately tried to seduce the main character. That's pretty much most of our villains, I think.
You know what? I just realized it's not totally about that, but it's about what we were talking about before the plot. They did give a lot of red herrings about Michelle and Dave, but they clearly told us, even when they were telling us those red herring details, they were like, yeah, she was here before with Dave, but they were off like doing it. Like they clearly told us that she was busy. She didn't go scuba diving at all. But still, like toward the end, before we find out it's Johnny, we're like, it was Dave and Michelle scuba diving. We're like, no, they were in the bed. Like we know that. Like
like literally they've done nothing together but have sex.
Yeah, like I just realized that. So they must be bad because they're just doing it. Obviously.
And these poor two who really, really are bothering nobody and are just doing it the entire time. Both get hit over the head and knocked out. Poor Dave gets hit over the head twice and then even asks Jean not to hit him again.
I don't think I can take it.
Yeah, it's like the saddest thing. Like, please don't hit me again. Oh, yeah. So Johnny's just a dick, really. I really liked the way the dreams played into what actually happened, like the blowing up of the balloons.
Yeah, that was interesting.
It's a really quirky, like true dream logic thing. Like it doesn't make sense in the moment. And it only makes sense once you've heard everything. But I really thought that was a cool extra trait.
I just want to know why the bathtub of blood, because there's no bathtub at the bottom of the ocean where he died.
That's very true.
That part just seemed, that and the ketchup, I liked it, Becca. I liked the bathtub with the blood, but I'm just, where did it fit is my question.
It didn't need to fit, Cassie.
That's fair. I'll accept that. I will accept that. Yeah. I'll accept that.
It was golden.
I mean, you can just go with it was dream logic.
Just for the sake of having a bloody bathtub. Yeah, I'm here for it.
I mean, a lot of things don't make sense. Like, you've seen Nightmare on Elm Street, haven't you?
That's true. But I just mean because of even what Cooper was saying, how they seem to directly tie into so many times, like with like leading her and telling her where to go. But then that one is like, here's the bathroom. You know where that is. Like, surprise, here's the ketchup. Like, what? I don't. But I did think it was cool because it was just her brain filling in stuff so that she couldn't be like, oh, my dreams are like, they're prophecies. Like, no, they're not. Maybe they are, but it's like ketchup. So what are you going to do with that, dummy? Like, have fun, like premonitioning, or what is it? Premonitioning? No, that's not the verb. Premonizing.
I think it's just having premonitions.
Oh, is there not a verb? Damn it.
I don't know.
Okay, I'm going to go with my own. Yeah, premonitioning. Yeah, that's what we're going to use. I don't remember what she was premonitioning now. Damn it, I got so thrown off by the word.
The ketchup and the fries and the bathtub.
The ketchup, there you go. Yeah, that's a weak psychic ability is all I'm going to say about that.
That is. And it could have easily been done without the ketchup and instead, like, someone was shaving in the bathtub and there was a drop of blood.
Sorry, I'm so excited. Okay. Picture this. Instead of the bathtub or something, it was like a swimming pool filled with blood. And then when she wakes up, she finds that it's the ketchup is overturned and it broke in there. And then later her friend's head smashes on the thing next to the pool. Like maybe that could have been way better.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And they could have mentioned how it, like, the broken top flattened of her head looked like the ketchup bottle.
Yeah.
See,
Cassie, you need to I don't know, somehow get control of this entire literary canon. So
I'll get right on that.
So you can make, updated tweaks, I think.
The amount of Pike fanfic I could write, though, just based on these little side things I make, it's so good.
I think everyone should just go scuba diving in Hawaii for you.
I like it.
Because you clearly know enough through Pike, and they should take pictures.
I know everything. I'm an expert. I could teach classes right now at hotels. If I go to them in the pool, I'm sure I could do that. I know everything there is to know, guys.
Okay, let's move into Thirst, which is our section on titillation and sexuality in Pike's world. There was a lot more thirst in this book than there has been in like the last 3 or 4. And I'm here for it. Always. So I've got quotes galore, but before I go in, does anyone else have any
I have one.
thirsty thoughts?
I have one. Hold on real quick.
Hit us.
I will hit you with my best shot. Okay.
Hit me with your thirsty thoughts.
Thirsty thoughts.
What does aloha mean anyway? Jean asked after giving Mandy a quick hug. Hello, goodbye, let's have sex, Mandy said. I don't know. Everyone says it here. Is everyone here having sex? Michelle, maybe, Mandy said. Probably. She's a fast mover. How was your flight? Like, that's such an awkward combo, but I loved it. I'm gonna be honest.
It is. And it has
I was there for a good time.
Well,
it has the room dialogue shift, and not room, the room. Anyway,
I figured out what the room was, by the way.
Okay, not room.
Yes.
Yeah, I had that one too, for sure. That was a great exchange. And it leads to, what have you guys been up to? Jean asked. Have you been having sex? Did I interrupt? Was it good? That's internal thoughts. Michelle shrugged her shoulders and her towel slipped a notch. Another inch and Dave would see her bare breasts. Not that he hadn't probably seen them already. Wow, that's an awkward back half of that sentence. Not that he hadn't probably seen them already. Yep, boobs.
Boobs.
She was nobody's fool, except perhaps when it came to boys, who, of course, she could never get to take advantage of her.
Ugh. All right, I have one too. Okay, she had an idea that she would no longer enjoy reading about sex after she had it, so she wanted to gather as much written information beforehand. Mandy and Michelle said there were boys in Hawaii, lots of boys, in her internal dialogue. I'm not going to do it, though, no matter what he looks like. I'm not a tramp. Then I'd have to read my chemistry textbook on the flight home. She might not have wanted to lose her virginity in Hawaii, but she wanted to come close. Wait, so why would she have to read her chemistry
That's
textbook?
what I want to know.
I think because
all of her other books would be boring by then, because she would have already had sex.
Okay.
I mean, so how many trashy romances did she bring? She slept on the ride there.
I know, and with all those coupon things she was worried about, when was she planning on reading?
Yeah, exactly.
Little horn dog. She has those pages bookmarked specifically. And she's like,
she just reads those over and over.
She goes in the bathroom. I'm just going to do a little light reading here. Ridiculous. I can't with that. Like, I bring a bunch of books, but come on. I would read them.
I've got one here. I assume Michelle's already got Dave wrapped around her finger or wrapped around other parts of her anatomy. Mandy was another virgin, rich in fantasy but lacking in experience. They're probably doing it as we talk. Poor Mandy. That's all I have for thirst. We don't get any extreme pining in this one, which I was happy about. You know, like Jean liked Johnny but wasn't desperate to be in love with him forever and would have regretted forever if their paths had not crossed, because there's a lot of that in these other books that we've just finished here.
It's your grandpa.
There is some like weird possession stuff from Johnny though. Like he said finders keepers as far as like him.
Ew, he did? I missed that.
Yeah, he was talking about how like he, I guess, found her by the pool or something.
Oh yeah, ew.
And he was like finders keepers, as they say, and she chuckled, I hope you don't feel that way about the girls you meet. And he's like, I didn't find you in the ocean, but by the pool, that's different. I don't get to keep you for good, which is gross.
Yeah.
And then he says again, like, I only get to keep you for the week. So that's a major red flag, girly. I'm like, just run away. Yeah.
Meanwhile, Jean's like, oh, he's so dreamy.
I know.
Well, in fairness, he is buying her dinner and taking her for free on his boat. And really, Jean is very fiscal.
You might say that Jean Fiscal is very fiscal.
Oh, no. Nope.
That last name just made me so angry.
I couldn't believe that. And I was like, when I read the name, I was like, okay, that's her name, whatever, maybe it's a name. And then they went on about how cheap she was and how she had no money and how she had like scrounged change to do this trip. And like, they just kept hitting it home, like every single thing. She's like, I couldn't have soda with my hot chocolate because I'm too broke. Like, what the fuck? I'm sorry, girl. Live. It's $2. Get your Coke.
I mean, at that point, you're in Hawaii already. Just spend the $2. For fuck's sake.
And then she rents an expensive fancy car. You could have used your mom's credit card on that Coke.
But she didn't rent a fancy car. She rented a cheap beater car, didn't she?
I thought she rented I thought it said like she rented like the most expensive car, a car more expensive than she had or something.
I think it was the least.
They like had
expensive
upgraded the
car.
car. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, so did she have a good car or not? I'm confused now. I maybe misread it.
Well, they had a convertible
in the beginning, right? I mean, when she went to the graveyard, I thought it said that she got like a more expensive car than she'd had before, and that like she'd be paying it off for a long time or something like that.
So she's finally like living life to the fullest. That sort of
She
vibe.
used her mom's credit card.
Okay,
perfect. But I don't know. I might have misread that. Now I'm confused.
I don't remember.
I feel like it was a cheap car, but I'm not sure. I just found it funny that the first time she uses her mom's credit card is to go to a cemetery.
Yeah, that's fair.
And after she throws a fit with Johnny, like, oh, you won't take me? Fine, I'm going myself. Anyway.
Going back to the fact that she like didn't want to like pay for a soda to go with her hot chocolate. Can we just talk about if I went to Hawaii, I just don't really picture me drinking hot chocolate.
Yeah, I agree with that one. That stuck out, yeah.
Huh, Cassie?
Oh, I thought like if you're cold, I don't know. When they were like hot chocolate, I was like, yeah, I might get like hot chocolate. I would probably get coffee to be fair, but
well, yeah, coffee makes sense, but like I just feel like I don't know. It doesn't seem like a very Hawaii drink to have.
That's fair. No, you're right.
Well,
yeah.
what if we put an umbrella in it?
Okay, that makes it 10 times better.
That does make it better.
And a tiki mug. How about that?
Tiki
mug, umbrella, hot chocolate. Really? I mean, doesn't that just sound delicious? Don't you just want one right now?
If I was in Hawaii, I would want like a mango smoothie or like just a drink on the rocks, you know?
But if you're cold, that's what you would get too.
I mean, how cold am I going to be in Hawaii? Like once I get out of the water, I'm going to warm right back up, I'd assume.
That's
okay,
fair.
so I live in Michigan, and I'm like, I just feel like.
So when you get out of the pool, though, like if there's a breeze, like it's pretty chilly, and they said they had like goosebumps on their like goose flesh. I think they said, which is
that would be fantastic to me, though. Like
being cold?
I'm so used to being cold.
Becca, I'm right there with you. You know, California girls know nothing for cold.
I'm sorry. I just Florida too. Like I have both hot ends of the stick.
I went to like Disney World a couple of years ago, and like I was like straight up dying from the heat. Like I could not handle it. Huh?
What month did you go?
It was stupid of me. July.
Oh,
I suffered.
I'm so anywhere hot in July.
I used to have an annual pass, and I would not go during June and July because it is so hot there.
How did you live though? Like in general, when you lived in Florida, like how?
I stay inside, my love. I stay inside with the air conditioning.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. I gotcha. Air conditioning does exist in hot locations. I got it.
Oh, you guys don't have air conditioning?
Oh no, we do.
We have air conditioning. Yes.
I just assumed everyone in hot states just suffer.
No, I don't deal with the heat very well.
Okay, I hate the heat. It's like the worst thing.
This is the quality content you look for when you come to the PikeCast.
Yeah, this is what people are here for.
This is what our patrons are paying for right here.
You're welcome. Shout out to all of our patrons. Thank you guys.
We love it.
Do we want to move into Die Softly, where we talk about moralizing and problematic elements? I can feel Nico just raring up.
Yes, let's do it.
I don't know what you mean. This is so perfect. And I had no moral dilemmas with this book.
Oh, Nico, you should read Die Softly.
I don't think I would enjoy any more
that one
Pikes.
is way worse.
Let me just give you a hint. The plot is kicked into motion because our hero wants to put a camera in the girls' locker room and take pictures of naked girls, and instead he takes pictures of murder.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Oh, it's right. It has one of the best girl villains, though.
It does. It really does.
It does. Yeah.
You know, like in all seriousness, the reason I don't do YA, like write YA or a lot of it, is because I feel like you have a responsibility, like a much bigger responsibility than if you write adult. And I just think Christopher Pike is being irresponsible. Like, I wonder if my parents knew what was in these books that my sister was reading, because I feel like they would have to have a talk with her or something. Like, if you didn't have parents talking to you about like sex specifically, he seems to be very in on that. Like, if this was your like sex ed, Christopher Pike was your sex ed, like I feel like you would have some issues with reality, you know?
I mean, Christopher Pike is where most of us learned about abortion.
Oh yeah, or I said you would think that, but my intro to that was Flowers in the Attic. So some of us turned out okay, despite what we're reading as children.
I mean, I think Flowers in the Attic is right up there with problematic for young people to read.
Yeah, and my mom bought me that book because it had kids on it. So,
oh boy,
yeah.
Oh dear.
Oh dear is right.
Okay. Well, I don't know how I feel about any of this anymore. I
need to have a talk with your mom.
I do get what you're saying though about writing this stuff. Is it does take an extra layer of concern when you're putting. But I feel that way about most content now. Now that our eyes have been opened a little bit more. You know, it was always problematic. We just didn't necessarily see why.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that like when I'm writing, I'm going out of my way to include things that I might not have a decade ago. I'm going out of my way to not say things I would have a decade ago. And that's in writing for adults too. It does put us in a weird quandary, especially in a genre where there are bad people. Because we're often writing really bad people. And then the question becomes, how sympathetic do we want to make these bad people? And how bad are we still able to get with them, you know?
But some of these things, like the descriptions, we didn't need to.
Oh, well, yes.
Yeah, like do stuff like that. Or talk about virginity as if it's awful. You know, like it's okay to be 18 and a virgin. It's fine. No one's going to perish if you're 18 and a virgin. So, like, that was just weird. I just wrote a lot of like stuff on the margins, like, ugh, gross, I can't handle this. No one should be with strangers. Get off the boat. Like, it was like motherly advice all over this place for these people.
I think it's interesting, the virgin stuff especially, because Christopher Pike's heroes are usually virgins.
And that by itself is problematic.
Well,
like the virgin trope in horror.
What we've wondered a lot is how much was a requirement of the publishers in how he characterizes these people? Because sometimes we do get the characters who aren't virgins and they're not portrayed problematically at all. Sometimes there's different levels to how he portrays people. And I do wonder often how much the editors and the publishers had in saying, okay, your main characters need to be virgins.
What I thought was even interesting in this one is not only she's a virgin, but she never kisses the bad guy ever. Like all the way to the end.
Wait, she didn't kiss him?
No, like they almost kiss. Every single time it's like an almost kiss.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize
or is that. Not? I think like that stuck out to me. Like, and I was wondering if that was a specific decision to make her be the quote unquote good girl the whole time, so that she would never have fallen for the bad guy. And why does virginity need to be talked about at all? Like, why? Like, okay, if like fine, like I have no problem with like Michelle getting it on with Danny, but like why like, just let them get it on, you know? Like, why does it have to be addressed one way or the other? Just be like, oh, I've had a couple boyfriends and that's it. Like, why do we have to get so into it?
Right.
To the virginity aspect of it.
Well,
just some thoughts.
I will always defer to you ladies here, because I know I was very concerned about the idea of losing my virginity when I was reading these. But how were you all, if you put yourself back in that 11, 12, 13-year-old mind?
But do you think the concern was because so much media was throwing it at you? Like books like this?
Yeah.
So like if we just took it out, maybe it wouldn't be such a big deal if someone's a virgin or not. Because I feel like
so what you're saying, Nico, is you want to extract a whole area of the problematic writing of the culture.
Yeah, that's fine. Because what I think is, well, I mean, virginity gets kind of a bad rap. Like,
totally,
everybody's having sex, and that's fine. Like, sex positive all the way. But at the same time, virginity gets kind of like this, and in this book too, like, oh, I'm a virgin. Oh, Mandy's a virgin. Woohoo. You know? And that, it doesn't need to, be represented like that. But I guess you're right.
I feel like from my perspective of reading it, even when I was younger, from my perspective, it wasn't that it was seen as like a bad thing. It was like, this is where you're lacking in experience, which is a fact. Like, you just don't have that experience doing that particular thing. I don't have the experience of skydiving. If somebody were like talking about skydiving, I wouldn't have anything to contribute. I, as a person, would want to go skydiving. Like, so I would be like, I don't know. I know that's a weird thing to compare it to, but I'm like, I can understand why it's being talked about, and I can understand like why people would be like mentioning it, especially given the age they are, because when I was that age, I would have mentioned it. Like, it wouldn't have been like, it wasn't something my friends would have teased me about though. Like, that was never something when I was in high school, or like, well, I didn't talk about this stuff when I was younger, to be fair.
I do have a question along those lines. Is it the power of the word and the associated idea of virgin, when really for Jean it's about, she's curious about having sex and would like to have sex, but not on this trip because she's not ready. So if we take the idea of virgin, which is really the dagger form of this concept, if we take that out, does it become less problematic?
I think that's it, at least for me, because that word, especially in the South, with the culture, with the religion, means like purity. And that's so incredibly problematic.
That makes sense.
I think, like, Cassie, you didn't have people like make fun of you or anything like that or pressure you. It's like, it was a different experience in my circle growing up, and so for a lot of other people too. And for people I've met since I've lived in the South who've had issues with like being called whores or tramps or anything just for even talking about sex,
right.
So it really is like,
if they do it, or is it so both ways? So no matter what you do, it's bad.
Yeah, really, you're fucked
for women mostly,
or not.
So like the term virgin is problematic for women, from culturally, religiously based in society and things like that. So for me, when I saw the word virgin, it was just kind of like a salt on the wound type of thing of like, they're going to portray it negatively. But I'm glad that there are people who read it and, didn't take that impression away from it. Because you're right, she did want to have sex, just not this time.
Right. So I feel like
you have to read her chemistry book.
Yeah, yes. If only so she didn't have to read her chemistry book. Why did she bring her chemistry book?
Who knows?
Because that's a problem also.
It's honestly a good question, because chemistry textbooks probably weigh so much.
Massive,
what was she doing?
Yeah.
You didn't have anything better to pack?
I mean, think of how many romance novels she could have packed instead.
Right? With good dirty parts.
Okay, let's move into the season of passage, where we talk about specific quotes from the book. There are some Pikeisms in here. The most obvious is the fact that we are getting so much information drop on a specific subject, and that is one of the defining factors of Christopher Pike. In this one, it is scuba diving.
Yes.
We did have some of the other ones, like all the stuff about Michelle's body is from the point of view of Jen, so we could reasonably make it that the ogling of the girls thing. But there's no locker rooms in this one, so we don't have that, and there's no even real mentions of the fact that they're in bathing suits often. So we don't really have a lot of our traditional Pikeisms. I thought it interesting that in the beginning of the book, they drink Coke, and on one of their trips, they drink Pepsi.
Oh, did they? I didn't notice that.
They did.
I noticed her say she was a cola freak, which I was like, what is it?
Yeah, who's a cola freak? I mean, come on.
If you're really a cola freak, you're telling me that one soda is going to keep you awake on a plane? No way. Your caffeine levels should be so much higher than that. Speaking as somebody who knows, I could fall asleep having like 3 Cokes. Cola freak.
That was the most unbelievable thing in the novel. I agree.
The whole thing. Yeah, like that was it. That one part is what got me, and I'll never forget it.
Never forget it. The most ridiculous passage to me was when Mike and Jean just met, and she's talking about, like, he says he goes for long walks and he's bringing his rifle. Mm-hmm. And she's talking about how she doesn't mind if people shoot something and they eat it. And she says, "Oh, I think that's fine. Hunting for food, I mean. It's just that I never met anyone who did it before." She chuckled. "Around my neighborhood, we have grocery stores." And I was just like, wow, really? Like, how condescending are you? But, like, that to me, she's like, I just was, like, shaking my head. I wrote, really? Seriously?
It really does treat Hawaii as a whole nother country.
I know, it's bonkers. We have grocery stores. Like, obviously, she is living the life of the rich and the famous over there in California, because nobody else has grocery stores.
In Alabama, never. No.
I know. No grocery stores in all of Alabama. I just thought some of the word choices were bad, too. Like, Michelle says feels divine when she's talking about something. Like, divine, I don't think, like, a teenager would ever say. There were some others like that. And I was just like, that kind of took me out every now and then.
Yeah, some of the dialogue was a bit off for me as well, especially between the girls.
Yeah.
But
that seems to happen in Pike's stuff.
Yeah.
Is he does pretty good, but then there's definitely conversations where the girls are having a conversation. You're like, you've never actually listened to teenage girls.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, he's a little out of touch with the teenage language.
I've got this interesting exchange at the airport with a guy. "I've worked here 15 years and seen too many of them crash on takeoff." What guy is working at the airport that has seen that many? I mean, really, planes don't crash very often. So 15 years, how many is too many? 1?
Also, who mentions that to a person about to get on a plane?
For their first, like, she knows it's the first time. And then Jean throws back, "I guess the smell of the burned bodies gets to you after a while."
That part made me laugh.
What kind of air travel are these people having?
I was like, oh, she got him back with that. Like, because I was thinking, like, what the fuck kind of thing is that to say to her? And she responded that way. And I was like, yeah, you go, girl. You better be grosser to him than he was being to you.
No, I like that. Yeah. Here's a weird thing. And I noted this because I'm a tech guy. There's a widescreen TV in every suite. There were no widescreen TVs in hotels in 1991. Where did this idea come from? Or did he just mean big?
Oh, well, maybe he just meant big? Or he told the future.
I mean, it's possible he told the future. It's just a weird thing for me. And it's like, well, no, that's not how it worked.
I mean,
it's like they had Blu-ray players. What? No. Okay. I have some good writing that I liked. I'm not going to decree it good writing.
Air quotes, some good writing.
Some good, quote, good writing. This is Mike climbing out of his grave. His face was powder blue. Ragged purple stitches covered the top of his skull. His brown eyes were sunken beyond the point of vision, yet they moved this way and that, endlessly searching the surroundings and always coming back to rest on her. A small dirt clod was stuck in the corner of his cracked lips, and he reached up to brush it away with difficulty. His fingers appeared permanently curled back. I really like there's some gruesome stuff in here that is, I think, the best writing in the book.
Yeah, the horror elements were really good.
Yeah. And often he goes scary, but he doesn't go like deep horror usually. And I felt the horror in this a lot more so than in many of the other ones we've read. Here's that balloon thing. All he could do was stare at the white globe as it slowly changed to deep, sober red. The veins in his eyeballs had ruptured. A film of blood slipped over his vision. Then everything began to go dark. The balloon burst. The heart, their heart. It splattered her face with blood. The red seeped into her eyes. I really like the imagery there. It's
yeah.
And then my last one here is from Mike on the plane at the beginning that I forgot about, I acknowledge. When the moon is full, it lights up the water at night. You can see the dark fish. You can see the caves of colored coral. The fish swim in the caves and the tide rushes out. When the time is right, the water rushes through the moonlight to the end of the cave. There's something very evocative in that. And I get why Gene would be instantly taken in with that conceptually.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely thought the horror parts were the best. They were the most attention grabbing. I was really focused on them. Really good descriptions. I think I would have been thoroughly disturbed and scared as a kid.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely more so than a lot of the writing. That's the other thing that we get in Pike is he's willing to go darker than all the R.L. Stine, all the point horror, they never get as brutally dark as Pike occasionally gets. Okay. Does anyone have any other quotes for the Season of Passage?
I don't.
Nope.
Then let's move on to the last act. Okay, so Nico, here's how this works. We are giving it a rating out of 5 pikes. Okay. You can give little extras on the pikes, like if you wanted to jam a skull on one, or maybe wrap that breather octopus tube around one. You can do that to give it a little extra oomph. And it's not meant to be among the pantheon of Shirley Jackson quality of horror.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
No, believe it or not, I don't want you to compare this to The Haunting of Hill House.
Okay, perfect.
Or The Lottery.
Okay.
I would like you to compare this. So as this is your first Pike, I'd like you to compare this to the pantheon of Pike-ish fiction you've read. Okay. How about that?
Okay.
And you get to go first because you are our guest.
Okay. I'm going to take into account that this was written in the 90s. So
yes, please do. We always have to do that too.
So as far as writing, characters, plot, horror, I would actually give it 4 solid pikes.
4 solid pikes.
I would.
Cassie, I know this is one of your favorites, so I'm very excited what you're going to give it.
Dang, I hadn't gotten my extra because I was hoping Becca was next.
Oh, would you like me to go with Becca next?
No, hang on. Okay, I've got this. So I'm going to give it... I'm going to give it... Okay, I got it. I'm going to give it 4.5 pikes with a flattened head from being thrown off the building on the side.
Is that head on a pike or is it at the bottom?
It's just kind of splattered all over all of the other pikes.
Okay.
So next to the pool.
So the gore is everywhere, is what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty gross. But I liked it.
Excellent. Now, Becca.
Okay. I'm going to give it 3 bloody bathtubs. I liked the dreams, like we talked about, especially the bloody bathtub scene. And that was honestly probably about it. Oh, and I liked the beginning with, like, the airplane. Like, when she was sitting next to him and he showed up and it was, like, clear something was wrong. And I was like, oh, this is probably a ghost. and like I don't know, like I
you went with this is probably a ghost. I didn't think that at all.
After he died.
Oh, okay.
I was like, there's something really weird happening. So this is the first time I actually caught on to something, I guess. But so I really did enjoy that part. I kind of just like got burned out on all the scuba diving and like the fact that like there were chapters where like it felt like nothing was happening. Yeah. So yeah, 3 bloody bathtubs.
I'm going to go right alongside Cassie here, and I'm going to give it 4.5.
Nice.
I was so taken in by the sequences of suspense, mainly because I don't feel like we've gotten much suspense from Pike in the past. And so the suspense of, now that we know who the killer is, or the suspense of what is she actually going to find now that she's going back down in this cave at night. And I really, really dug that. So I'm going to go with 4.5 Pikes. The fifth one is the 0.5 is the skeletal hand in the cave. All these Pikes are in the underwater cave. So there's fish swimming around them.
I like
Maybe
it.
Pikes. I don't know. I don't know where the Pikes go. I don't think they're in Hawaii. So that's my thought.
Pike fish.
Pike fish, yes.
Okay, I like that one.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it took me a second. I was like, wait, where could they go? They're just steaks, aren't they? And then I realized there's a pike fish.
There's a pike fish. Yeah.
Clever. I like it. I'm not being sarcastic. I really
I take you at your what you're saying, not your tone.
Good. Yeah, my tone is bad, so don't listen to it. He legitimately, like, out of nowhere, he'll ask me a question, and he'll be like, "Are you mad at me?" And I'm like, "What?" He's like, "You just sounded really mad." And I was like, "I was just answering you while reading. I don't know. I'm sorry."
Yeah, I get that from my partner a lot, where apparently I'll say something. It's like, "No, what are you talking about? I just said words." I gave him no inflection whatsoever.
That's the problem, though. Sometimes if it has no inflection.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I in trying to not indicate a feeling, I feel it.
It's like the suspicious thing.
It is. It is just like that. Well, Nico, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you guys for having me. It was so fun.
For tolerating Pike's often problematic work.
Yeah. It was fun.
But at the same time, you gave it 4 Pikes, so I really shouldn't.
It is a well-written book. People will enjoy it. Good character stuff. So yeah,
if you're curious, we could recommend like the best of Pike for you, and you could.
Still gonna have problematic stuff though.
Definitely, yeah. There is no non-problematic Pike.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a lot on my TBR right now.
Well, if you're ever sitting around being like, what could I read? We'll help you out there.
Perfect. Thank you.
So before we go, would you like to tell our listeners more about you and where they can find you and your work and all that?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter or Instagram at Nico Bell Fiction, or my website, just www.nicobellfiction.com. I edited and published Shiver, which is a chilling horror anthology, cold-themed horror. 30 really awesome stories that range all over the place. So, yeah, you can check that out. It's on Amazon, and that's about it.
Cold-themed horror is fun. I like it.
It is super fun.
Cassie, how about you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at ControlAltCassie. And you can also find me under my Bookstagram under @readinginaPrism. And then I also have a blog, letsgetgalactic.com. And I have an art shop, etsy.com/shop/letsgetgalacticart.
And Becca, where can we find you?
You can find my blog, which I mostly talk about books, at astoldbybex.wordpress.com. You can find me on Instagram at readwithbex and Twitter at astoldbybex.
And you can find me at coopersbeckett.com and Cooper S. Beckett on all the major social media except for Facebook because I abandoned it. I'm also at Beckett Arts, where you can find my drawing and digital painting. I don't know why I ended on an upbeat again there. It just confuses me and everybody else. Your oh yeah, right. That's the next part. Cassie,
yeah.
We tell our listeners where they can find more of the PikeCast.
Yeah, you can find us on social media. We're pretty active on Instagram and Twitter. If you tag us at the PikeCast, you can use the hashtag show us your pike and show us your books. We really like to see your collections, whether they're the books that we're reading or just your full collection of pike books on your shelves.
Because they look so good.
They do. We love the covers. We love the spines. And we also love resharing them so we can repost them to our stories or to our feed on Twitter. And then we also have a Patreon, and that helps keep us running. And, things like transcription, you get little special goodies, and you get early access to our episodes. So that's patreon.com/thepikecast. And you can also leave us a review for your preferred listening area. Sorry, that was really worded weirdly. I don't know what I was doing with that. I don't know what to call it though. Like wherever you listen to your podcast, give us a rating. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's basically it.
Good.
Okay, Pikers, your homework for next time is 1992's Master of Murder. So give that a read, and we will catch you next time on the PikeCast.
Woo!
You survived the night, friends. You can peek out from under your covers and see the first blues of dawn out the window. Thanks for spending the night with the PikeCast, and we hope you'll join us again next time. Until then, Pikers, pleasant dreams.
Is it shaking or something?
Let's try. Is it still happening? Is everything okay? Okay, sorry, I don't know what was going on.
I just imagine Becca sitting there vibrating with excitement.
Yeah, she's I've done that. I've had the restless leg syndrome thing, and it's like, what's vibrating? What's going on here?
I'm gonna be honest. I was playing with an eraser by the microphone, forgetting the.
Okay, that's it.
I'm so sorry.
Okay, so Becca, if you want to play with the eraser, you got to mute yourself. Okay,
or just hold it further away.
I'm so sorry.
Just extend your arm and look at it while you're playing. It's okay.
Oh my gosh.
Explanation.
No more.
She's just fiddling, and we're like,
I was gonna pretend like nothing happened.
I'm sorry, Nico. I think I interrupted you in the middle of a sentence there.
No, it's fine. Can I point out just some really bad dialogue between her and Mike?
You can do that now, or you can save it for the best and worst passages.
I'm going to save it.
Okay.
I'm going to save it.
And just so you know, too, Nico, we have a whole section. So we have one section devoted to sex stuff, but then another one wholly devoted to problematic stuff. So you can go as much as you want in the problematic section, too.
Yeah, we fully acknowledge there's all sorts of issues with Mike.
Yeah,
don't worry.
Yeah, because these were written in the late 80s, early 90s. So there's a lot of stuff that doesn't read well that we know better now. Yes. But yeah.
Like how teenage girls should not be going to Hawaii unsupervised.
Yep.
Just saying. It's the mom in me. Like, really, I just can't handle the plot.